shift the way you lead, the way you live. Clarity, courage, change. Because your next level won't wait. This is Monday MindShift, the clarity you've been craving, the shift you didn't know you needed. Hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Maybe it's afternoon. Wherever you're joining from, I'm glad to have you here. Big welcome to Monday MindShift. And today is a unique episode that the title came from one of our viewers. And I'm really enjoying doing this. So keep the comments coming. Drop a hello, drop a joining from wherever you're joining. Because remember, I see numbers and that's it. I don't know who's actually watching. If you don't comment, I don't know you're here. I appreciate all the comments. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day today to be here with me and listen along, whether you're fully on focus here or you're listening to it while you're doing something else. Either way, you're appreciated. Or maybe you're watching the replay. Hope you had a great weekend. Terry, welcome. Hope you had a great weekend and you're ready for this new week. Hey, Rob, welcome. Glad to have you. Of course, everybody probably notices Terry. Andre, I haven't seen you in a long time. How are you, sir? Terry is a connection I made through a networking group I'm part of, and I'm excited to have him here. He's a great guy, and he's doing some great work with helping business owners promote their business through the power of podcast, but without all the work. So if that's something you thought of, feel free to let me know. I can put you in touch with Terry or reach out directly. Anyway, feel free to network amongst yourselves, make connections, etc. if you're not already connected. Either way, happy to have you, grateful for you all, and let me get started. All right, so welcome back. Last week, we talked about self-trust, and I made the case that self-trust, it's not just a feeling, it's a track record. It's evidence of promises you kept to yourself, even if nobody else was checking. Today, I want to look at the other side of that, what we could say the broken half. Because there's something underneath that self-trust that many people don't look at. And as I said, I'm not the one who pulled this thread. You were, the audience. Last week, Narcisse drew a line in the comments that it stood out for me. She said she could commit to improving her health, but she couldn't commit to going to the gym 5 times a week. It's the same goal, but it's 2 different promises. One, she could easily keep. The other, she was guaranteed to break. And she knew that. She knew which one was which before she even started. People, that's the whole game. So I have a question for you. What if the promise itself was the problem and not you? I want to say hi to Zarar. Welcome. Glad to have you here. I know it's evening for Zarar on the other side of the world. And good morning, Sharon, over there in Arizona. Thank you for joining. So I want you to sit with that question for a moment. Then I'm going to ask you to do something. Tell me about a promise you broke into yourself more than once. Put it in the comments if you're willing. I'm not looking for a big life promise. One of those regular ones, the one that keeps coming back to haunt you every Monday. I give you guys a minute to do that because I know there's a delay between LinkedIn and my live stream here and Restream. And I'll continue like this. When we break those promises to ourselves, those recurring ones that just keep haunting us, we tend to reach for the same description or same explanation. Sorry, not description, explanation. Lack of discipline. I don't have any willpower. I lost it on the follow through. And we decide that the problem is in here. It's right here. It's the person looking at us in the mirror. Kenneth, welcome. But let's look at how the promise was built, because most of the time we build them backwards. We don't build those promises to keep it. We don't size them as achievable. We size them to be impressive. Because there's an invisible audience in that room where you've made the promise. You make it big for them, but you make it rigid and impressive so you can feel like the high performer you think you're supposed to be. So here's the line. Actually, I see the comments coming in. So Terry, right? Not just good one. How many times have we made that type of promise? Like, gonna go do this. And then we don't. We don't actually follow through. Or Sharon, powerful one. More discernment, more quiet time, silence. So we can let things cook, let them settle, right? Those are good. Thank you guys for sharing that. Here's the line I want you to remember. A promise you cannot keep isn't a commitment. It's a performance you staged for someone you thought was watching. Let's go back to Narcisse's distinction. Improve my health, it's directional. You can move toward that, whether it's a good day or a bad day. But going to the gym 5 days a week, that's a metric. The first time life happens, sick kid, late flight, whatever the reason, you miss it once and you suddenly feel like you failed. Then you file that failure against your own name, adding it to that identity payroll we talked about. And you find yourself in a strange place. You made that promise, to feel like someone who follows through. But that promise itself, that's what taught you that you don't. All right, let me go look at the comments here. Rob is here live, just so everybody knows, just like I'm here live. I'm not AI. I've had that question. Zerar says, I'll work when I want so I can live when I want. Yeah, that's a common one. Casual conversations, acquaintances staging an inquisition, needing canned responses that deflect their questions. Love to hear more on that, Sharon, because I think that opens another side, right? Like, why are we deflecting the questions? Can we get more live in our responses rather than canned responses? Because I think we tend to use those canned responses too much, right? I see it in some of the men I've spoken to. How are you? I'm fine. But if you look deeper, and I've done it, I've done it. How are you? I'm fine. So. In Spanish, we say más o menos. Not bad, not good. I'm surviving. But these are canned phrases that we tend to recycle rather than saying, I'm not. And again, going back to vulnerability, we've talked about that before, right? I'm not going to emotionally vomit on someone. I'm going to look at the context. Who is this person? What is the situation? All of those details, and gauge the release based on that. Not because I'm trying to fit in or belong or, mask up, but because it's not the right place or time or person or situation to share those details. But a simple answer like, I'm having a tough time lately. Yeah, gossipy. Yeah, those are fun. I have canned response for those. Why are you asking? Or if someone's sharing gossip with me, why are you telling me this? Right? I've been around those people who love to gossip or they love to pry so they can fill their gossip mill. So that's a good one, Sharon. I understand what you're saying now. All right. So let's go look at the two chairs today. Now, if you've been here, you know how these work. But if you're new, just follow along. It's a guide, it's a resource that maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. Not everything fits everybody at every time. I realize that. It's just one thing that I've found very useful. And nobody's called me on it and say, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard. I heard people say, oh, I've seen this before. So it's pretty simple. You can simply imagine two chairs. You can also take two chairs out of your dining room and putting them facing each other. And you can physically move from chair one to chair two, or you can just do this as a visualization exercise. But in the first chair, let's put the auditioner there. That's the version of us that makes every promise that's big so it's impressive. Because it believes the promise has to be big in order to matter. It sets a bar where the applause is. But in private, it quietly fails. And then begins to label that fail as a character flaw. That version, the auditioner, is exhausted because they've been constantly auditioning for a version of themselves that they haven't even met yet. Now, in chair 2, let's call it the keeper. This version of us makes promises sized to hold. They're directional, they're small enough to survive a tough spot in our life, a busy time. It has a simple belief: a small promise kept builds more trust than a broken large one. The keeper doesn't care about being impressive on paper. What they want is a spotless internal ledger. And that's what the only thing that self-trust is built from. So I have 2 questions here. Normally I have the single question. A happy Monday to Lisa. Yeah, get those sliders like 115. I don't know how you people are doing that. Like, that's too much. Couldn't live in Arizona. I would die. So the first question, which chair selected the size for the last promise you made to yourself? Right? This isn't about promises. This isn't promises we make to ourselves. And as usual, the question isn't which chair is better. It's looking at ourselves and asking, which chair am I sitting in? Which chair am I spending the most time in? And we could add on, what chair do I want to operate from? All right, so here's a written exercise. If you want to answer this in the comments, great. If you want to write it in your journal, that's great too. Think about one of your broken promises, and I want you to rewrite it. You can use this template, or you could redo it in your own way. I'm going to put this in the chat. Here it is. The version I performed was talking about the chairs. Performed, or the version of the promise that I performed, the big promise I made so I could be impressive or feel impressed. The version I could actually keep is. As I said, if you drop those in the comments, great. It adds to the conversation. But the key point is to think about this yourself, right? To evaluate yourself, because you're not here to impress me. You're not here to impress Sharon or Lisa or Kenneth or Rob or anybody else. I want you to impress you. And the best way to do that is to get more wins in that internal promise ledger. Now, warning. Don't let this become a tactic trap where you look at the promise and you're like, oh, it was too big. And you try to just implement better discipline because that promise wasn't set right in the beginning. The fix, the real fix, is architecture. And there's 2 parts to that: direction and the floor. Direction is simple. Where are you headed? Lead better, eat healthier, write more, be more present. The floor is that smallest version of that you refuse to go below. You can make that so low that it almost feels ridiculous. Make it one sentence, a 5-minute walk. Easy. Open up the laptop, open the word processor. Maybe you add in, type one sentence, right? Make it, you set that floor. Something you can definitely hit in that promise. It might feel a little ridiculous, a little embarrassing, like, oh my God, like anybody could have done. Like, open a laptop, turn on the, come on. But remember, we're looking to build the kept promises internal ledger. This isn't about impressing other people. Rob, I have a saying, how you do one thing is how you do everything. So yes, personal internal world, your marriage, your relationship with your kids, your work life, the neighbors. We don't live in silos. As human beings, we can't silo. We think we can, but we can't because it will bleed over. What I'm talking about, Rob, is starting with keeping the promises to ourselves, because that will lead to making better promises to others that we can also keep. And it doesn't rely on discipline or regimen or any of that. You establish a pattern, like, I keep promises. I'm the kind of person who keeps my promises. And it doesn't matter if they're promises to me or promises to everybody else. And it also doesn't mean what I used to do. I just don't make promises unless I'm 100% certain that I can keep it. I mean, how many times can we honestly say that no matter what, I can keep that promise? Things happen, life happens, we forget things, things come up, etc., etc., etc. So you can't know with 100% certainty that you can keep the promise. So closing myself off like that, saying I just won't make promises, it was bad choice. From personal experience, bad choice. Anyway, the floor is what helps you protect your record. On a good week, you're going to fly right past it. On a bad week, when you fall face down on that floor, you still kept your word. You still stop the bleed of self-trust. All right, I'm going to go to the comments here. Yeah. Kenneth, does anybody like nosy people? I mean, honestly, does anybody? Maybe Kenya needs to take a trip to Arizona, go on a walk with Sharon. Bill, you made it. Rob, you're not. Sure. And is there a different place you can do this? Like, I know it's a pain in the neck, but, or I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in your shoes dealing with these people. Maybe do like the politicians. No comment. No comment. No comment. I don't know. Maybe it'll work. You're right, Kenny. No man is an island, and no part of that man or woman is a silo, right? We don't can't compartmentalize. And as a man, that's how we operate. Our brain is a compartment system. And so we tend to have more trouble with this of thinking we can compartmentalize things, just keep work over here, keep the kids over there, wife over here, personal struggles over here. But it doesn't really work like that. All right. So let me go back to where we started at the top. What if your promise wasn't was the problem and not you? It wasn't some character flaw, it wasn't a lack of discipline or willpower. If you've broken the same promise over and over and over, let's set this straight right now. It doesn't mean you're weak. You built a test that couldn't be passed. So rather than a discipline problem, it's a drafting problem. You're not a person who can't keep their word. You're the person who makes your promises too big to keep. That's fixable. And my final reflection for today: what would you promise yourself this week if you built it in order to keep it instead of trying to impress? So, if today's topic illuminated a gap that you've been carrying, maybe it's time to look at the architecture. My identity clarity call is where we look at what you've built, who you've been auditioning to be, and how do you find that floor that you can actually stand on? Because that's a gap. And that gap of who we actually are performing and who we are wanting to be, that we're meant to be, is up here, and there's a gap. That's where I do my work. That's where we work together. Find the gap and start architecting the bridge. I'll put the link in the comments. And while I'm doing that, I'll also post the link to join the stage. I would love to have anyone open to joining me on stage. Questions, comments, discussion. This channel, this show is about It's not the Sean show. I know everybody's enjoyed just watching the Sean show, but I didn't design it that way. All right, so https :/dailypowerboost.com/identity. If you want to have that call, it's a no cost, no obligation. Let's do some x-rays. And for the stage, there's the link. Love to have you come up and share, ask questions, anything. Because as I said, I never built this to be me be up here talking alone. I'll do it. I'll keep doing it because you guys keep coming back. And you keep sharing great comments and questions and it is a very great illustration of the male mind. If you want to check something out, Rob, search on YouTube for The Tale of Two Brains. Nice. I can be there in like 10 hours, Sharon, but I think the sliders will be cold. Tale of Two Brains by Mark Gungor. If you want to explore this concept of the differences between men's thinking and women's thinking, he beautifully illustrates it. And he's funny, at least in my opinion. Questions, comments? Somebody coming on stage? Or are you going to leave me hanging up here? Did those not go through? Do you guys see the link? Let me know. Do you see the links on LinkedIn? Because I don't see them on LinkedIn. Oh, there. Now I see them. And I see we have nobody over on YouTube today, but that's okay. Cold is better. Yeah, I remember hot summers. Mom would make, what is it, chef salad, where it's lettuce and vegetables and cold cuts, nothing cooked because she didn't want to cook. And I still do that. Like when it's really hot, just give me some cold food. Cold teriyaki wings, cold fried chicken, cold pizza, cold salad, with maybe some grilled chicken breast. Sharon, I feel so frustrating that Restream just doesn't want to work for you. Okay, that's interesting. It says, like, I'm getting weird pop-ups. And here's a question, Sharon. Do you ever have problems jumping on Zoom or StreamYard? Like, where are you actually able to join? Because we've already ascertained that Restream doesn't like you or something, doesn't like your setup, doesn't want to cooperate. Because there are definite... Well, I think for you, Kenneth, It's about lunchtime or just after lunchtime. I don't know. Exactly. All good, Sharon. I had my wife and I were actually training for I don't remember how long it was. It was a bike ride along the California Coastal Highway. So up and down and like this. And so we were training and we were on pure cold food. Like we had protein shake and we did like protein shakes, protein bars in the morning. Lunchtime we made a big salad. We put whatever vegetables, maybe some almonds, a grilled chicken breast that was cold. Eat that, and then in the afternoon, protein shakes, protein bars, healthy snacks, nothing. Yeah, there's no reason it shouldn't work on that machine, that phone. But you will probably have better luck on your MacBook. I almost always join rooms on my MacBook. Rarely do it from the phone because it's hard to hold the phone steady while I'm talking for me. And even though I have like a ring light up here, they're actually less complex than most people think, Timothy. Right? You set up a free account on Restream or StreamYard. There's some other ones, but Restream, StreamYard, those are the top two. You connect it to your LinkedIn, your YouTube. I know Restream gives you 2 channels on the free account. Um, right? It lets me choose my camera, it lets me choose my microphone. Right? I can even do like this. So you can see my backstage. There's the phone. Which would be good. I could do like desktop stuff. Okay, let me switch that back before someone gets sick. You can change cameras, you can change mics, you can present. Actually, this lets me do showtime with the rounded corners, split screen with other presenters, picture in picture. Nothing's really changing because it's just me. It's pretty simple. And then if you want to join a live stream, just click the link. It'll go to the web page, try to connect to it. Let's see. Of course, copying the link on the phone is a little difficult. It was circling around my head because I put a secondary camera on, Bill. But like here, whoops, there's my phone, iPhone 15, 5G, Sharon, non not pro. And here it is. I'm sitting in the back room, and you can see me, and I can go here and I can bring Stealth Sean on the stage. But everything's muted so we don't get any funky sounds. That's simple. And iPhone 15, just for comparison. Not sure why it has so much difficulty for you. You like this one? Maybe it's because like TVs used to have the rounded corners back in the day before we got all the flat screens. Or this one. Or on Restream, I can bring in the slides. So there's lots of things we can do with the tools. Questions, comments, things you'd like to have me talk about on Monday MindShift. Anything. I'm open, people. Tell me, tell me, tell me. Give me the juice. What keeps you coming back? What could I do better? Anything like that. Anyone? Bueller? Sorry, couldn't resist. Bill will send it direct. Maybe. Let's see. Interesting, Bill, because I did see it. The best lesson I've learned that I still have more to learn. I know that sounds cliche, but honestly, that's one thing I've learned. And second to that is my identity is fluid. Exactly, Timothy. That's let me drop that link again, see if it goes through. That's why I share the link. It's because you can't, like audio rooms, the goal is to allow people to come up and share, ask questions. Should see the link. If we're first connections, like I was able to direct message Bill, I can direct message Rob easily. If we're not first level connections, it's a little trickier because it automatically files that under a different inbox. But whenever you're in an event like this, if they invite you to speak, like Annie does this all the time. Sometimes Leslie does it. Different people do put the links in so you can join the studio. Because our goal is to make this interactive. A lot of us were using audio rooms. We loved them, and then they went away. And I wanted to try and carry Yeah, I know, Sharon. That's why, like, I know you're not the average user. You know what you're talking about. So when it gives you pushback, it because I've had that too. I'm very tech savvy, usually can figure things out. But what was it, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago? I had to reconnect like 3 times. It kept dropping and doing everything. All right, Terry, thank you for dropping in. Glad to have you. All right. Bill,
You
so
just
glad.
seemed like you needed somebody to come up on stage, and
I
I'm never gonna leave
appreciate
you
it.
hanging.
How are you, sir?
I'm good. That's the answer you're supposed to say, right? I'm fine. I did notice that I had a phone call, so I stepped away. And when I came back, you were circling around your head in the studio. What
Hmm.
was that?
Because I have a MacBook and an iPhone, they call it continuity camera. So I can, in any, whether it's Restream, StreamYard, Zoom, whatever, I can switch the camera so that it activates my iPhone as the camera.
Show off.
But
That was so
before,
cool. I loved it.
yeah, it is cool because you can do the backstage, and actually it has another thing, but I've never gotten it to work. It's called desk view, and it's actually designed so you can, write on your desk and broadcast it onto the stream. Haven't figured it out.
The reason why that looked so cool to me is that it made your show look dynamic. So it just switched from like one area and then back to the other area. I loved it. I'm looking at it again right now on YouTube. Did you just switch over? There's a delay on LinkedIn.
Yeah, there's a major delay on LinkedIn.
So yeah, how are you?
I'm well, been doing well, getting
Good.
things rolling. Got
What's
my
going on with?
chapter done for the book project, so I'm happy about that. At least first
Good.
draft.
Good for you. That's exciting.
And
Um, Go ahead.
having a lot of conversations with, or working on getting more conversations with coaches to talk about the AI engine I built for coaches, validate it, see what people are doing today to support clients between sessions, etc.
When are you going to come on my show to talk about the AI engine that you built for coaches?
Sometime after today, because you just asked. And
Yes.
it's not a question you've asked before.
Sure. Well, I mean, come on, Sean. You're always welcome.
I know.
Um, so do you want to do something specific about that?
Yeah, we can try it. I mean, we can definitely talk about it because I'm actually, just before this, I was recording my a short demo video, and I'm really like dialing this in, having conversations with coaches. I actually did a live 2-minute demo pitch in front of an audience the other day. Didn't make my 2 minutes, but it was, I got a lot of, like, I had one person like, I'm an executive coach and that would be very valuable.
So I'd be willing to cut my intro down by 2 minutes so that we can start with my intro, then go into your 2 minute pitch, and then we come on stage.
Timothy made it. Sure, that sounds good, Bill.
All right.
I
So,
said, let me try it on my phone.
hey, Timothy.
Hi, Michael. Good evening from Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay, we got the global. We got Bill over in Florida. I'm down here in Guatemala, and Timothy over in Nigeria.
Yes, 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 yes. I'm happy to join everybody.
So, what
You
inspired
were
you to come
talking
on
about
stage, Timothy?
it was the topic of your life. You talked about mindset shift. Started
Well,
immediately.
I call it Monday Mind Shift,
Yes.
but I actually work downstream. Like a lot of what I talk about is at a lower level of mindset because mindset is important. Don't get me wrong, but
Okay.
if we go down a tier and look at our identity, when
Okay.
we set that solid, mindset automatically shifts. But
Right.
the other thing is language, Bill. Tell me I'm wrong or right. If I say identity, people are like, "What are you talking about?" Like, yeah, I got my ID, I got my voter pass or whatever. Uh, what are you talking about? Mindset, people understand that. It's very familiar.
Yeah,
We got a
I
party
guess.
now, Bill and Tim, because
Okay.
Rob's here too. Go ahead, Timothy.
Well, I figured that growing up, we used to have a particular mindset due to our environment, due to the family background, our upbringing. Then, the moment we are becoming adults and we begin to face life on our own, then we always have a shift of our mindset. It tends to bend towards the choices we make and basically the work we do.
Hmm.
Like, I'll give you an example. Growing up, I never liked people doing a blue collar job. I want to be specific, a personal experience. And because they get their hands dirty, they are not the regular go to the office and come back. But after I finished the university and I found myself doing a blue collar job, working at the seaport, I now see the joy in showing your skill as a man. I literally liked it. So I now feel that the mindset I had then has shifted and it is towards positivity, not in a bad way. So I just feel like in every area of our life, it happens like that. We need to change our mindset from time to time to
Right. We
have
have to
a different
reevaluate it.
perspective of life.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I want to say.
And I went through a similar shift, Timothy, when I got near the end of high school and went into the military. My
Hmm?
mindset was I don't want a white collar job. My dad worked in an office his whole life. It looked so boring, like going and sitting at a desk all day. Like, I don't want that. Give me a job where I'm getting dirty and using my hands and I'm outside.
Wow.
And I did that for years. And I'm like, I don't like this. Like, because I'm out, it's 40 degrees Celsius, over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and I've got to be out there working my butt off. I'm like, that's not fun. So I said, okay, I'm going to try the white collar. So I had a job as a facility manager at a big telecom company, had a nice office with a beautiful view, meetings and all of that. And I was like, I miss just being outside. And so I
Wow.
went, I want more control. Like if I want to work inside because it's hot out there or it's ice cold out. The other thing, I worked in Michigan and it was below zero. Like my
Hmm?
pant legs froze. It was so cold.
I got a question. If anybody will answer it, if you guys could do whatever you want to do, like your passion project, what would it be?
I'm living it, bro.
Living?
I'm living it.
Oh, okay.
I'm sharing my wisdom and knowledge and experience, the things I've gained to help other people. I have the freedom to help my son with his homework. As I was just talking about, I can work inside, I can work outside. I get to choose. That's, I would
So you're
say,
you're
it's
you're at the
fulfillment.
top spot of what you want to do then. That's awesome. I
I'm
admire
definitely
that.
in the higher tiers. I'm not fully where I want to be yet, but
Mhm.
it's coming.
Cool.
You know, like one of my dreams is to be able to go to like Nigeria because I
That's
have a lot
easy.
of I have a lot of connect. Well, yes and no, Timothy. Nigeria is a
Okay.
long flight from Guatemala, which
True.
costs a lot of dollars to give to the airline company. I had people
That's
tell me, they're
true.
like, come to Turkey, your dollar will go so far. You can stay in nice hotels and eat delicious food. I said, yeah, I understand that. Once I get there, the expenses will be very low. It's getting there for
Hmm.
3 people.
Yeah,
What about
I
what
agree
about
with
you,
that.
Timothy? If you could do
Yeah,
anything you
Bill.
wanted.
I, First of all, Bill, it's a pleasure meeting you.
Mhm.
Really, a big pleasure. Yeah. So
That's Rob.
I, okay. I saw Bill up the
I'm on
camera.
here, but that's Rob. Rob's
Yeah, we
asking
got Bill
questions.
and Rob.
Okay.
Bill's the
Oh,
ghost.
Okay.
Bill's the voice, the
Oh.
silky voice behind the
it's
Okay. Okay.
box.
Rob,
confusing and delayed,
pardon me.
so
My
we're
my
fucked.
wife
Well,
calls it stalker man. Whenever there's just that icon, she's like, "Oh, I don't like stalker man."
I'm just not camera ready.
No worries,
okay.
Bill.
So,
You know,
Uh,
Rob, I,
you've been around me long
are
enough,
you
Bill. You
naked?
know, my rule
What?
is
Are you
camera
naked?
not mandatory.
Just put a freaking hat on, bro.
yeah, well, he's a man. So, okay, here comes Bill.
Anyway, Timothy, your passion, like what you would do if money was not like a thing.
If money was not a thing,
Correct. Like what would you
uh,
do as
I
your
think
passion?
I'm going to be funny, but I'm going to be a very good drummer. I'll be playing drums.
Okay,
With, yes,
cool.
I love playing drums. But I need to have money. So I've been chasing money all my life.
Mm, okay.
So currently, I had to have a passion in pursuing money. So basically now, I just want to handle bigger equipment, bigger machines like the STSS, like the mobile harbor cranes. Now, if I do that and I'm being paid, oh, I will love it. I'll be fine.
That's awesome.
And that's
Yes.
powerful. You know, this is a powerful question, Rob. It's a powerful statement. Like, because I've asked the question to people before. If I could wave a magic wand
Hmm.
and everything was just exactly the way you want it, what would you want?
Yeah. No,
And I can't tell you how many times people just look at me like, I don't know.
that's funny. I get an answer every time. Um, I recruited for 14 years. We've talked about it, but like I try to like deconstruct like where do you want to be and how do we get there? And we start where you want to be and then we go down, right? Um, and it's
And
been sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, Rob, just quickly, I think like in recruitment, when people are looking at like in leader, in development, like if you're a recruiter, your manager is like, okay, where do you want to be? Like Timothy just said, it's easy to say, I want to upgrade to the bigger equipment. I want to use that. You see that big old crane over there? I want to be the guy up there driving that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's, when you look at a supervisor, or that's an easier jump. I think sometimes they look at somebody like me, a coach, and they know I'm talking like big. I'm talking like your big dream, your ultimate.
Right.
And I think that sometimes people go, oh, yeah, I want to be a crane operator. Great.
Yeah, it makes them uncomfortable every time, for sure. Because they don't know. And that's okay.
It's okay. My goal is not to make them feel bad for not knowing. It's like to light the spark, like dream big.
Yeah.
If a genie popped out of a lamp or a coconut or whatever and gave you 3 wishes, what would be your 3 wishes?
Right.
You can have anything. Except like, the genies say, I can't make someone fall in love with you, blah, 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 blah. They got all the disclaimers, right? So before we go to Bill, I'm turning the mirror on you, Rob.
Yeah. What would I do if money was not an option, or an issue? I would have a dog rescue, and I would make knives. Like I would
Nice.
forge, and I'd have 30 dogs.
Yes, sir.
Haven't forged knives. I did forge a screwdriver when I was a kid. And I've done the dog rescue thing.
Yeah.
At one time, because everybody kept dropping off dogs, and never just one dog. It was like a pregnant dog.
Mm-hmm.
At one time, I had 24 dogs running around my house, and I didn't have a big
Jesus.
property. This was just a house with.
That's so many dogs, dude.
That's a lot of dogs, and most of them were puppies.
Ah.
I would like to have 30 acres, 30 dogs, and work from home. That would be my goal, whether I'm doing outbound or marketing or content, whatever. I would like to stay where I'm at. I would like to be with my people. I would like to be with my animals. That's essentially my goal for the question I pose.
And there's value in knowing, like, what is that? Like, one of my mentors said like this: every one of us as a human being has unlimited potential, but you gotta have a target. Right. You gotta know, what am I aiming at?
And
am I aiming at a good job that pays me enough money so I can retire someday? Or am I aiming for a house out in the wilderness with 30 dogs running around?
Well, and it's
freedom,
funny
my own cutlery forge.
It's funny because it can be both, right? Like my wife can work remote, I can work remote. We could have acreage and be fine with that. It's just getting to that point as somebody that's 38. Like I'm still trying to figure that out.
Okay.
It's like, how do we do this?
Rob,
does it actually work?
You realize that at 45, I packed everything I own, drove across Mexico, and had a dream to build a farm in Belize, another country. That didn't work.
I did not know that. No.
That didn't work. So we packed everything up
And you went
and
back.
moved to Guatemala.
Shit. Okay.
We lived in Guatemala for 3 years. And Sharon's comment is perfect timing. It's perfect timing. She said, impossible is just an opinion.
Fair enough.
Because at 48, the impossible happened to me. The child
Wow.
that we never thought was possible. I was 48 years old and my wife was pregnant.
You know
Wow.
how that happens, right?
There's a lot of factors, Rob. Reduced stress, more sunlight, because here in Guatemala we're out in the sunshine almost every day. We're more active. We were climbing volcanoes,
That's not what I was
etc.
talking about.
That's been going on for 34 years, buddy.
Good for
All
you.
right, let Bill share his dream.
Billy?
If he's Yep, there he is.
My dream.
Your dream, like what would you do? Your perfect,
Money was not an issue.
All right, so my
right?
perfect life would be this. I live in Southern Florida, so I would want a compound on the beach. And when I say a compound, it would be a big house and then several small houses for my children, so that we would have a place where we can all go, have our own space, and then meet in the big house for like dinner and stuff like that. And my grandson could come. I'd also want a small home in Los Angeles. And when I say small home, I mean
Why
anything.
LA? Why?
I'm from LA, and that's where my
Okay.
daughters are.
Okay.
Um,
That makes sense. Sorry.
and you know what I love is building up other people. I'm not a coach. I don't claim to be, but I enjoy listening to other people's stories and building them up and sharing my story. So I think my dream job would be continuing what I'm doing as a hobby and make it more global.
Okay.
And I also used to really want to be like Michael Jackson or Prince.
Yeah.
And so I'm every day on each show, I'm doing new music for that. And it's me reliving my childhood type of like dream of being like this. And when I say Michael Jackson, I don't want to be Michael Jackson. It was just like a
Turns
person.
out he was into some stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
I get what you're saying. What I hear you saying, Bill, is like creating music that people
Creating music, and
enjoy.
Michael Jackson was vindicated. He was not into some stuff.
Well, let's not go there. Okay, yeah,
No,
there's.
no. When the
I'm just
Epstein,
saying. Yeah.
He was dosing himself every night with like
oh,
heavy.
oh yeah. Absolutely, absolutely.
That's
I,
bad, right?
I thought you were talking about the child stuff when in the Epstein files.
I
That
don't know enough about that to
Yeah, the Epstein
be
files
intelligent.
said that he was not a part of it. They were actually um, they were actually trying to push him into it to take the spotlight off of Epstein.
All
So
right,
that's a very
let's not go
interesting.
That's
too far
self.
down that path because that's not my show.
Okay,
I
all
know your
right,
show. I know you
Sorry.
show.
Sorry.
There's no walls.
Sorry.
all right.
I
So
do have some
yeah,
walls.
I would do that. I would write my memoirs. I believe that sharing your story actually helps heal other people, and
It can be
that's what I would do.
fulfilling too.
Awesome.
Wow. That's cool.
Thank you,
That means you
Tom.
love music, Bill.
Huh?
Hmm?
Bill, that means you love music.
And all sorts of music. It goes from like a rock beat to um very, very relaxing music to 80s pop. I mean, it's just everything. And when I get into that creative space, that's where my mind releases all the weight and it just flows.
You can just chill out. Yep.
Yeah,
No, I totally get that.
I can knock out like 4 songs in a day and like 3 chapters of a book.
Wow.
Just
If you
it's
don't have kids or dogs or wives asking you questions constantly,
well, my
like,
kids are 34 years old. I have a grandson who's 4.
holy shit, you don't
So
look
I
that
And they
old.
live on the other side of the country.
so
Mine are
I've been through
11 and
all that.
12. Fuck.
I have a 150-pound dog that wants me to take
I
him
actually have
outside
one of
every
those.
day.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, he's an Akita. He's great. Um, but when life gets heavy, that's my escape.
Writing.
So,
Writing,
please,
writing and producing music. Yeah.
Okay. That's, I
uh,
write every morning. I do the same exact thing. That's my escape. That's my wake up call. Just putting down my thoughts of the day
Eh,
before I start interacting with anybody because
eh.
I'm a dick if I don't.
Okay, this is a
so
G-rated show, kind of, Rob, or PG-13 anyway.
Did I? What did I say?
So Rob, you come to most of my shows, right? You come to my UBU live and you come to the wind down.
Correct. Yep.
Nice. It's
All
good
right,
to meet you.
let's give Timothy. Timothy was trying to speak up. He had something to share.
yes, I wanted to ask Bill about music. Recently, like a couple of months ago, the creators of music using AI blew on the internet, and I saw one, I saw two, then I started seeing so many. They redo most of Michael Jackson songs, some Celine Dion songs, Daniel Millian. So many people they use their voices to create music. Then I listen to the tracks they are making, comparing it to the original track. I am confused between choosing the old one I've been hearing, I've been listening to, where the musics were produced, the guitar was played, the drums were played, the keyboard was played, the saxophone was played, not by the computer, by real people. They were selected, it was mixed, it was produced. Now I listen to the ones that were made with AI. I am not going to lie, it sounds so good.
Hmm.
And I feel, what is going to be the next step in music? Does it mean we're not going to have physical artists again on stage? Are we going to just be using AI now? Even when you go to a party, it will just play on the DJ booth and you just
I hope
listen.
not. I hope not.
I have
But
that fear.
I'll tell you this. So a lot of artists, including Mariah Carey, if you've ever heard her, sometimes her voice is off. A lot of artists use auto tunes, right? So I sing my own music, but it's really auto tuned. Like like if I sung by myself, it sounds terrible. But I auto tune it. But so does Janet Jackson and Mariah Carey and other people. And a lot of if you look at studio production now, or even in
Mhm.
the 90s and early 2000s, and you watch them, they're mixing music, but you don't usually see a band in the studio like you saw in the 70s and the 80s. So the AI applications, if you use them right, produce really good quality music. Now, Timothy, when I produce something, I don't let the AI do it. I
Okay.
use it as a tool. So I literally say, I want the saxophones to come in right here. And I want the drum beat to come here, and it needs to be at a 18 BPM. And then when I'm doing the lyrics, it's either below the song. If it's one of my wind downs, Rob, like I try to have the music below the, I have the voice below the song, below the music,
Yeah.
um, versus a belt. And
Okay.
Well,
you know,
and that's the world. I'm gonna wrap this up at least for the live stream
boo.
because we're way off topic. We can continue talking. Um, I
You
just gonna
asked me to
hit.
come
I'm
It
gonna
up,
was
hit.
John. You
probably
know I'm
I'm
going to
me.
gonna
go
hit the
off
I'm
live
sorry.
topic.
stream.
I'm sorry.
But on that, like, here's what it is. And I can compare this to what we've been talking about, identity, right? Am I managing my identity? Am I living the life that I choose, not the thing that I thought I wanted or what I believe the rest of the world? Am I orchestrating my life? Because in this AI world, whether it's music or video or anything, content, like, published text content, all of it, of course, the AI is powerful enough. Anyone can go and say, create me a video that does da da da, and it'll generate something, right?
Yeah.
Show a video of Bill and Mariah Carey dancing together. It can create it, and Sam Walton is watching. I don't know. You can create anything. What Bill's describing and what the magic is the human orchestration
Yeah.
of the AI, right? The human is still bringing that creative side. You know, I want it. I want this. Like if you imagine tracks on audio, I
Yep.
want the voice at a lower track, so it's behind the music, not in front of the music, or etc. Or like when I use it to build my agents, I'm in there. I'm reading the code. I know what it's doing. I'm giving it guidance and orchestration. I'm letting it do the menial stuff that I don't have time to do.
And I'm also writing this stuff.
Right.
So, you can listen to my music, and John, I've gotten in trouble sometimes because if I'm in a bad mood, then
It comes out in your
I'll attack
song.
somebody. But I like, you could tell what I'm going through literally because it will be in the music.
Right. But
So
and that's
it's
what, with identity, that's the thing. Are you orchestrating who you are, or are you letting external forces drive it? Are you running on autopilot, just doing the
I think
job,
I
the
think you're
life,
letting
living the life?
people know how you feel when you do that.
yeah.
Like I'm in a happy circumstance. I'm low. I'm medium. I think,
Well, and music does that, right?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's what
Right.
one of the things I love about it, because it's like a release. Even in some of my best songs, Timothy, are when I'm mad.